Alright guys, so I committed to doing a video every 2 weeks, so I'm gonna do that this year. I really want to boost my channel a little bit, and that's one of the ways that some guys, they gave me some advice and said that that's probably what I need to do. So I'm gonna try and keep it all mule deer related. We're in the off season now. We're kind of after, it's it's into January. We're getting a ton of snow, as you can see here. I'm just sitting because around the lake looks like I can't see it, but up here somebody slid off and have a little bit of time. So I thought I'd just make a video and talk about maybe a little bit of controversial issue, but specifically the Wyoming mule deer herd, and in general just mule deer throughout the West have been on a constant, I guess, decline slash, there's certain areas that they're doing okay, but for the most part, the herds are declining. And so I just wanted to, I've had some conversations recently, like this week, about this, and just wanted to express my thoughts on that. I'm not going to say either way what's the best solution for this, but I do think that it's important that we all get involved and try and do something about this, because there's multiple ways of thinking about this. There's multiple ideas and opinions. Some people think that we should completely stop hunting. Some people think that we should continue to hunt and manage better. There's lots of different scenarios, and I just wanted to express my opinion. I think that our mule deer decline is not necessarily hunter related as much as it is natural causes and even predators. And so I think it's important that we as hunters don't get so wrapped up into, because we're not seeing as many bucks on the landscape, or there's more hunting pressure out there, that we don't start blaming each other for that situation, and look at all the variables of this before we personally attack other people. Now there's factors of jealousy, there's all sorts of factors there that can play a part in this, but basically, in a nutshell, I'm just going to express my opinion. Looks like the line's moving here, so I might have to set up a little bit later and kind of dive deeper into this. But yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do for the next probably 10 minutes, is just address that, talk about some issues and some things that other states may be doing. I'm a Wyoming resident now, and so with the 2023 or 2022-23 deer, basically, it's destruction, I would call it, out on the winter range. Everybody's more aware of the situation, but I just wanted to talk about some things that some other states are doing, and things that maybe we could do, and this is just my opinion, so take it or leave it. Just wanted to do a video on this and kind of keep it positive, because everybody has the right to their own opinion, and it's okay to express our opinions, but I think it's very destructive to start attacking each other when we are all the group that's shooting for the same thing. All right, so kind of got this set up on the steering wheel. I'm just not going to look down, just try to pay attention, but just kind of talk. So yeah, just kind of diving into it, and I don't want to get too crazy, because it's a passionate topic that we as hunters, especially here in Wyoming, there's kind of, it seems like a tradition of seeing more deer, bigger deer, from stories from I guess grandpa, you know, and as generations have gone back, you know, these local Wyoming guys and I don't know, they just have seen a cool era of the mule deer herd, and it's neat to sit and listen to them, and I admire their just dedication to tradition, and you know, their expectations, because they saw it in the heyday, and I don't blame them for being disappointed in where the deer herd is now. And I think it's honorable of them to continue to push towards returning to that kind of situation. Now on the flip side, I think that there's a situation where things are evolving. Hunters are hunting harder now than they ever have back in the 60s or 70s. People are more aware of recreational activities now, and I think that, just like anything, hunting needs to be managed just like it needs to be managed in every scope of recreation to a degree, to not have an impact where it destroys the resource. No, it doesn't mean that we should just, I mean, this is kind of my opinion, but in my opinion, it doesn't mean that we should just stop doing what we love to do altogether. It means that we need to be creative in managing those resources so that we can continue to hunt now and even in the future. And if that means, whatever, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a biologist, but there's scientific studies and proven data that encourage, especially on mule deer, limited quota kind of stuff, especially, and even weapon selections, different kinds of seasons, so that we almost make it more difficult on ourselves to harvest those deer, and but allow as much or more opportunity. Now, my opinion is that there's three main factors that are diminishing the mule deer herds in the West. Number one, now this is not proven, I'm not a scientist, not a biologist, but I believe, because where I grew up, the mule deer herd was booming until populations of other ungulates started to increase. So, that includes elk, maybe antelope. There's different ungulates out there on the terrain that can compete for those resources, those feeding areas, all of that kind of stuff. And so that's my opinion. Number one is other ungulates that come in and maybe are more hardy than mule deer. Like elk will flat out just survive. I've seen bulls up to their chest in snow, and they're gonna survive no matter what. If a deer is gonna die in that kind of situation, probably, unless they, even if we get a rain or a melt in the middle of the winter and it crusts over, those elk are going to be able to survive that kind of thing, because they're just bigger, stronger animals. And some will die, obviously, but that's kind of what I'm talking about. So that's number one. Number two is I believe that the predators out there have not been managed in a way that it's helping our herd increase. You know, there's different scopes of hunting, and one of them is predator management, opportunity there. You know, this kind of ties into the elk, but like also elk opportunity. You know, it's not always just about mule deer, even though me as a mule deer guy, and I love talking mule deer, I want it to be about mule deer, but it's about spreading resources evenly throughout an area where everyone gets opportunity. You know, if it was just me, I'd probably take as many elk as I can off the landscape, increase the number of tags on bears, and shoot as many coyotes as we can, and try and increase that mule deer herd. But that's not everybody's idea. You know, I respect the hound hunters, I respect the elk hunters, and I think that it's selfish of me to just focus on that. But that's variable number 2 would be predators. Number 3 is flat out just natural causes. You know, for whatever reason, unbeknownst to the efforts that we have made as management, even in those states like Utah that are super aware of their management plans, they have data to back all of their stuff up, there's still a decline of mule deer throughout the West. So for whatever reasons, you know, in my opinion, especially in western Wyoming, it's flat out our winners. You know, they can kill thousands and thousands of deer in one event, when hunters are only killing, you know, 200 to 300 ish deer a year, depending on the situation or the unit. So I don't think it's fair to blame the hunters in those kind of situations. So that would be variable number 3, is our winners and natural causes. And I think we're striving to do that, to improve that. You know, with our migration corridor, overpasses, underpasses, high fences, you know, I think we're trying to help that migration route winter range situation. I think we're aware of it, as far as vegetation goes out on the winter range. You know, we're doing studies there, but I think the biggest issue here is that like there's things we flat out just can't control. Now, couple solutions. This is my opinion. I don't like controversy, but I will share my opinion openly. I think that Wyoming is way behind the curve as far as putting in place those steps needed to increase mule deer herds. You know, like I've heard multiple times that the buck to doe ratio needs to be higher. Well, it sounds like, based on the studies from Utah, that if the buck to doe ratio is lower, that will give an opportunity for deer herds to increase. Now I don't know all of the details of that, but those are the kind of studies that I think we need to address and talk about openly throughout the mule deer community, and not just get so narrow-sighted or tunnel visioned on what will be beneficial to us individually, that we're not open to those ideas. So anyways, that's just kind of my thoughts on that. There's lots of different opinions. I'm gonna get some flack, I'm gonna get some comments on this, and that's okay. But this is gonna be a video for this next week. I'm gonna show some deer as well in this, you know, there's we didn't even go into like weapon selection or weapon choice, weapon evolution, I guess. technical evolution of, you know, stabilizing binos, the scopes, and what is going to come from all of that at some point. Now, I'm not saying that's bad, but I'm just saying that we are getting more advanced than a guy driving up the road in the 70s with a 30-30 open sight. You know, I guess that's the thing, is if we want our herds to go back to that, and that's the only factor, if we had no bears, no coyotes, not as many, I guess, as there used to be, there wasn't as many elk, and we had the same kind of herd populations, you know, you're going to see those monster deer. It's going to be the heydays, right? But we're in a different era, we're in a different age, and I think we can't just shut down our opportunity to do what we love. We need to figure out other things that will at least keep the opportunity there, and, you know, do whatever we can to try and help. You know, it's in my situation, I love hunting deer, I love killing deer, I'm very consistent at it. It's something that keeps me going, and I'm proud to hunt deer. I love hunting deer, and the thought of just sitting out seasons and seasons of deer hunting to see if deer herds are going to come back, just because, you know, like, that without any management plan, without any decisions from a bigger perspective, it makes me feel sick, because that's what drives me throughout the year, is those opportunities. And I don't believe those opportunities are just going to go away. It's just going to get harder to take mature deer on the landscape, which everybody has an idea of what a mature deer is. I would say 90% of guys, if you put a 6-year-old deer and a 3-year-old deer next to each other, they're not going to be able to tell the difference. So it sometimes is interesting when people say, you know, I want to kill a mature buck. Well, what is a mature buck? You know, is a mature buck a 4-point, you know, a 180-inch 3-year-old, or is it a 6-year-old regressed buck? You know, that I don't know a lot of people that are going to shoot an old 2-point just and pass up a big 4 that's a 4-year-old, you know, just because it's 7 or 8. So, just a few ideas there, just thoughts. But, you know, I'm open to, I just feel passionate about it. I think it's really awesome that everybody has such an interest in our mule deer herds throughout the West. And I really hope that we, rather than tear each other apart, we can come together to come up with solutions to increasing our mule deer herd, rather than I guess tearing each other apart. You know, it's not necessary. I don't believe it's us. It's not us. We are not causing our mule deer herds to decline at the rate that they are declining. There's bigger fish out there that we need to catch and figure out. Yeah, just some thoughts. I hope you like it. I will put this video out there. I'm gonna probably include some videos of just me out running around the mountains, and we'll go from there. So I'll see you in 2 weeks.